What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another late night in the BrewLab with me, Lone Fox, your brewmaster-in-chief. And tonight in the BrewLab, as a little preface to the brew that you'll be seeing shortly after this video, I'm gonna make sure that they're scheduled to go live on the channel shortly after each other. I thought I would bring you Maro's teasers. As always, I really enjoy this post whenever he does it. It's not only do I really enjoy the content because you get to start thinking about what's coming, but it's also a sign that we're getting really close to the new set and spoiler season beginning and all that sort of good stuff. So without further ado, let's jump right into it, shall we? Let's get this on a full screen. Oh man. He always it's really good. Like, he teases well. There's a lot going on here. So before previews for Dominaria United officially begin, I thought it would be fun to do another of my duelist style teasers where I give tiny hints of things to come. Note that I'm only giving you partial information. Very cheeky. So first up, here are a few things that you can expect. A new evergreen counter. This I honestly cannot even hazard a guess on. I cannot, I can't. I mean, it's new, so obviously, but interesting. Going to be really interesting to see what it is. We've already had almost everything under the sun. Menace counters, trample counters, and all the various other keyword counters. We've had +1/+1 counters. We've had flying counters. So I wonder what it could possibly be that's new, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what that is. But then number 2 is a popular Planeswalker gets a reprint. And here, I'm trying to think of the ones that have the least of, because I mean, from a lot of the spoiler content and like imagery that's going up on their website and things, we can definitely hazard some very good guesses that there's going to be. We've already seen some artwork for Liliana. We've seen some Johnny, who might be the one who's getting completed. We've got already one Planeswalker that's been spoiled already, so it's not bad. It could be Teferi, but what would be really cool is if it would be Urza, because for those of you who don't know yet, this set is going to kick off like the 30-year celebratory event. It's 30 years of Magic the Gathering, which is still amazing to me. So it might be Urza, and because it's the Brothers War next, and he's one of the brothers clearly. So I don't know. That's what I'm gonna guess, but it could just be another Teferi or whatever. But gonna be interesting to see what that is. But then this particular one has the internet in an uproar. A blue card that says destroy all creatures. I mean, obviously it's partial information, so I'm assuming there's a very big downside to the card or something. But I went and did a search on, every single card since the beginning of the game, and there's no blue cards at all. It's the very first time that there's a blue card that says destroy all creatures. So, you know how much I hate Azorius control. So I'm pretty worried about this one, but fingers crossed it's really hard to get off or really expensive, or they have to have certain conditions met or whatever. I'm hoping it's not like just a very easy sort of a blue sweeper, because that would just be wow, breaking the color pie. But let's see how it goes. Then we've got a 5-mana creature that can be a 10/10. I guess, again, of course, there'll be some bunch of different caveats and things that then you need to do to make sure that happens. But, 5-mana 10/10 is pretty amazing. Then the 3 original Weatherlight crew members are in the set. I didn't play during that period, so I have no idea what this is. I would, of course, with all of these, love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let me know down below what you think about everything that we're about to go through, but specifically this one. If you one of my lovely subscribers could enlighten me to who the original Weatherlight crew members were, but I guess we're getting 3 of them. Then oh no, 3 original, does that mean like they're new? Or original as in like from the... Anyway, let me know what you think. Then, an ability word that didn't start as an ability word returns. Does that mean like flying and trample and all those kinds of things? So is there like a new one that wasn't and now will be? Is that gonna like just change Magic forever? These, you know, this next year that we're spending on Dominaria is gonna be bonkers, I think. So anything can happen. I think they're gonna start to change things a lot drastically, especially as far as standard is concerned, which is my bread and butter. So I'm really curious about this one, but again, I could not even begin to hazard a guess. Then we've got a rare cycle of +1/+1 granting lords, so full 5 lords in the set. That is amazing. You know how much I love lords, so I can only hazard a guess at you know, we'll try and guess when it comes to the creature types. It might be like a lord for Phyrexians. Imagine that. Wow, like super duper cool. And a full cycle, and they're rares, so I'm really excited for that one. Then we've got a card that grants poison, so I guess kind of similar, like Finn is rotating out. Let's bring in a new card that's kind of a la Finn, which is cool. I like the fact that poison's sticking around. Finn was always really fun for me, so I hope it's a little bit better than Finn. Finn was just a little easy to remove. But we'll see. We'll have to see. But interesting that poison is back. So they're still not calling it infect like it used to be. But this should be really fun. I hope that it's a nice card. Maybe something like 4 mana, a little bit more toughness, has maybe multicolored. I don't know. Just I'm really excited to see what this one's going to be. Then we've got a new artifact with Lotus in the name. That's always really cool. It's almost certainly going to be some sort of mana rock. You know, finally, for the moment at least in standard, the best one has been the Celestis. Now for a long time people have been splashing it into all sorts of control decks, but it'll be interesting to see, especially considering, and you know, I've been saying this for a while now, Dominaria tends to be a very artifact heavy plane, which is why I've been raving about the automaton. This could be really nice in our many cool new artifact decks that we have, even thanks to Kamigawa, Neon Dynasty and whatnot. So cool. I wonder what type of mana it'll create, if at all. But I mean, almost actually all the Lotus artifacts have some sort of mana rock ability, so it'll be interesting to see what that is. Then we've got a character player that we have been requesting to get a card for years, finally gets one. Again, please let me know in the comments down below. I did miss a big chunk of Magic in the middle there between, you know, sort of the early 2000s and then when the Arena came out, where just a bunch of stuff happened that I just completely missed. I didn't read any of the books, didn't play any of the games, I missed all of that lore. So I wonder which character we're talking about here, but I'll be really excited again to see what it's going to be. Then, next up, the next little section, he goes into some rules text that will be showing up on certain cards. So we're going to have a card that says, as long as an enchanted creature is legendary. Interesting that, like, there's a bit of stuff like this in the, and you'll see as I get through the article, focusing on legendaries, but we're also losing the Bard class. So I wonder how they're gonna try to support this, if it's like an actual sub theme or a full-on archetype in the new set. But yeah, interesting. Then we've got another little bit of rules text that says you may exile an instant or sorcery card with mana value X or less from among them. I'm presuming this might be some sort of an upgrade to a card like Duress or Dreadfugue, like a cast it on the opponent, they have to discard an instant or sorcery card with blah, 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 and then you get to pump into it as many you know, mana as you want for the X value. You know, if you're specifically, for example, predicting that the opponent might hit you with something like Invoke Despair the next turn, then you pay 1 and 5x, and you get them to discard that card from their hand. Could be really cool. Well, it's not even discard, it's exile, which is even better, of course. Then exile each non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less, so reminding me of Shadow's Verdict but with 1 mana value less. I think that's pretty good if it costs like 3 or 4 mana. There's a card in Alchemy that his name is escaping me, in white. It's 1 and 2 white. stupid alchemy card that, you know, does perpetually and things, but something like that, like a sort of early game micro sweeper in white that exiles a non-land permanence with mana value 2 or less would be really, really handy as a tool for that color, and it might even just be in black. So we'll have to see where that comes into play, but pretty excited to see how much that costs and what color it's going to be in. But definitely a good tool, especially against things like Boros or this playing or little creature decks and stuff. You just sweep the board. Unfortunately, of course, it's also your non-land permanence, unless this is just part of the text in the box, and there's, you know, it's but yeah, I don't think they would be able to fit that in either before or after to make it worded differently. This does appear as though your non-land permanence would also get killed, so this is definitely the type of thing that you wouldn't be running in your own creature deck. Definitely a control card. Then we've got enchantment creatures you control have. Very, very vague on that one, but there's quite a bit of enchantment creatures that we got in Kamigawa, I believe. Was that the set? Is that the set? Am I right here? The Naya runes deck has the little guy with the green and red guy that reduces enchantments. It'd be nice to have a bit more support for that. That isn't like the typical Naya runes version. Also, they're losing the Runeforged champion, so maybe leaning more heavily into the Hallowed Haunting. I really enjoy it when it's that type of deck. I just hated so much playing against Naya runes that I got a bit sick of it. But if it is a nice, like, little bit more of enchantment synergy as well, for the set, I'm excited to have that. I would love to see what the rest of this sentence says. Then, if X is 3 or less, I guess this is part of this card. Maybe, I don't know. Very vague as well. Very little I can guess about that. For each opponent who doesn't, that player loses 2 life and you draw a card. Okay, so this is obviously a commander card, but might end up seeing some play in standard. Sometimes that happens. There's cards that have this, like, for each opponent, so it's clearly for a table with more than one player that you're playing against, but then it ends up being good enough just to play in standard as well as a one-on-one. So interesting. Then instant or sorcery card with mana value 1 or 2. There's a lot of this. You know, dependent on instant and sorceries and how much mana value they cost. So I wonder again if this is part of the same card or whatever. But anything that I can do to, like, hate on control decks and their instants and sorceries, I'm happy for. So I'm hoping it's that. Then play any amount of mana. Woo! These types of cards, though, it's always so weird. There's some. The new, oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank. It's the Saga in green for 2 mana that allows you to play an additional land when on the first trigger and the second trigger, I think it is. And there's even the Druid class. There's been a few of these cards that allow you to play, like, more than one land every turn. But, you know, more often than not, you don't have more lands to play in your hand unless you, like, it's a deck that needs to run lots of lands, like in landfall decks and things like that, but we're losing landfall, so interesting. But still pretty cool that there's going to be a oh no, it's not play, it's pay. Oh my goodness, I'm really tired. Forget I said all of that. Pay any amount of mana. Okay, that's completely different point to make. Forget all of the things I just said about Druid class and things. Pay any amount of mana. Can't guess at what that might be, but that's interesting. But this next line I was really looking forward to getting to. You guys know how lately I've been saying now, like, especially in all my rotation proof brews in the last few months, in the last month or so, how much vehicles are going to be an important part. I think potentially will replace in a way in the play patterns the creature lands which we're losing, and I wonder if we'll get any new ones. We might not until the following set, so we'll have a big period in standard where there's no creature lands, and you know, of course your vehicles survive sweepers. So and there's been lots of vehicles printed in Kamigawa. We got lots more in Streets of New Capenna, so I have a feeling that with like the vehicle deck is slowly but surely like coming together, and this vehicles you control have crew 1 is just amazing. Obviously, it will be interesting to see what mana you have to pay to play this card. If it's an enchantment or if it's another creature that has this static ability, it'll probably end up being something like a 4 or a 5 drop. If it's a 5 drop and up, then it might be a little bit unplayable in standard. It'll just sort of end up being a more of a commander card. But if it's like 4 or even 3, then it's going to be busted ass, because giving your vehicles crew 1 is obviously amazing with all the good vehicles that we have, and potentially more that we're about to get in the next set, if this line of rule text has anything to say about it. Then, final little bit of rule text is where X is the number of legendary creatures you control. So going back to that thing I said earlier about, you know, it's a little bit of like legendary stuff here. As long as enchanted creature is legendary, where X is the number of legendary creatures you control. Again, funny that we're losing Bard class, but this is... there seems to be a lot of this going on in the set as far as this little teaser post from Maro is concerned. Then, finally, here are some creature type lines in the set. So we're getting Dryad Warriors, Phyrexian Horse. You know, talking about this lords that give +1/+1, I would like to take a bet with you guys. I'm fairly certain that one of them is going to be Phyrexians get +1/+1, because I mean, if it's not just going to be, you know, big crazy Phyrexians like Jin-Gitaxias and Vorinclex and things that cost 6 mana and stuff, but we also get like a Phyrexian Horse, and there's the 1-drop that we've already seen spoiled, which turns into a Phyrexian human or something. So there's going to be lots of Phyrexians. Then I can imagine there being one of the lords is a Phyrexian lord, and that'll be sick, like a full Phyrexian tribal deck, probably in I mean, unless we get one, it looks like we're getting one more Phyrexian. It's been spoiled already. Sheldred, the black one. So that's Grixis Phyrexians. We've already got, well, Vorinclex is rotating. We're going to still have Jin-Gitaxias, Urabrask, the Sheldred, and then all these Phyrexian other creatures types. So full Phyrexian tribal deck. You know how much I love my tribal decks, so I'm really excited about this one. Then we're getting an elf archer in red. There's only like one red elf in standard right now, and it's the rolling dice one, whose name I never remember, that makes copies of your creatures. That's the only red elf that we have in standard, so it'll be interesting to see how good this is. But if it's an archer, it's probably got reach. Then apparently the Lurgoyf is a reprint, or at least it's a card that this type we've had before. So, but again, I missed that period in Magic, so you guys will have to let me know in the comments. But apparently, it's something that's coming back. Then we got in Core Soldiers, so cores again. We had them in Zendikar Rising, Human Core. Then this one sounds really cool, Elemental Demon, and it's a legendary. Then a little bit more frogs. We're losing some of the good ones. The Froghemoth is from Adventures in the Forgotten Realm, so that's going. But there's a few other cool frogs that are sticking around, namely Tatsunari, the one with all of the enchantment synergies, and that makes frogs unblockable. So, that's pretty cool. Especially if we get more support. Maybe it's you know, more enchantment support as we saw further up, and then we get a legendary frog beast. So it could be, maybe this could be the lord for the frog tribe or something. Who knows? But very interesting. And of course, I mean, it's Dominaria. There's going to be lots of elves. We've already had one spoiled. So here's an elf artificer. So we're going to be doing something with artifacts. We've also got a Viashino warlock. There's Viashinos in Streets of New Capenna, so I wonder what's going to happen there. And then a Phyrexian Merfolk Wizard. Guys, I'm so damn hyped for this thing. I cannot wait for it to come out. I'm going to do a little first impressions reaction video to tomorrow's world building video. For you guys in America, when you're watching this, it'll already be tomorrow. For those of my viewers in... Oh no, it won't be tomorrow yet when you see this, but those of my viewers who are watching in Europe and other parts of the world, You'll probably get to watch the world building stream on Twitch and YouTube from the official Wizards of the Coast channels tomorrow. I'm really excited on that. And then, of course, on August 18th is the big debut. So we'll do a little reaction video to that as well. Don't forget to tune in. But that is going to be it as far as Maro's teasers. Yeah, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I will see you all a little bit later with a fresh brew coming your way. And until then, this is Lone Fox from the BrewLab, signing out. Peace, y'all.